Hey, Shalom Israel. Most High in Christ bless.
This ain't no sign.
Yeah, I just unmuted it, so it should be good now.
Okay.
If you can hear me, type Y. If you can hear me, type Y. It should be good. Hey, Shalom Israel.
Oh, there you
Most
go.
High in Christ bless. All right. Turn your joint down, though. Yeah. I just unmuted it, so it should be good now. All right, all praises. All right, back for another Monday night class. I know last week Cap did the Indian, still going over the Indian slave trade and so forth. Our people over in India. Y'all need to check that out. If y'all haven't, like, subscribe, comment on the last class that Cap did. All right. So like he said, he'll be doing it possibly every other Monday. All right. But tonight, what I'll be going over, just want to go through some history. So I got my man. What's your name?
Officer Mishael.
All right, Officer Misael. Brother forgot his name, but it happens.
Wow.
But anyways, bro. So I want to go through some history. I'm still gonna be going through the Ten Commandments, but I want to split it up a little bit. So tonight we're gonna be going over the Roman captivity. So I'm gonna space it out, just like how I'm trying my best to space it out. As far as the Roman captivity, because it's an extensive captivity, and I want to show the parallel of the Roman captivity to this captivity. All right, the parallel of the Roman captivity to this captivity, this particular captivity we in now, Babylon the Great. So right now I'm gonna go through the beginning stages of Rome, the beginning stages of how Rome came into power, and how they started conquering and became that great empire, and then how we became in captivity to them, Israel. Okay. With that, let's get Daniel 7 and 7. No, give me Daniel 2 and 40 first. So as you know, the prophet Daniel, our forefather Daniel, he prophesied about Rome coming into power, about Rome being an empire and so forth. So we're about to read about that right now. So give me the book of Daniel, chapter 2, verse 40.
This is the book of Daniel, chapter 2, verse 40. And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces, and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise.
Right. So remember, this is a dream that King Nebuchadnezzar had. He wasn't able to interpret the dream, so they called for our forefather Daniel. Daniel was able to interpret the dream. All right, by the hand of the Most High God. So read it again.
And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron.
So you had this statue. You had the king of Babylon, King Nebuchadnezzar. He was the head of gold. He was the head of gold, and then you had what else? Right, he was the head of gold, and then you had the breast, which was of silver. All right, which was and which I think it was Persia. And then you had the belly that was the thighs of brass, which was Greece. And now we're at the what? The iron. Okay, the iron, which is Rome. All right, read it again.
And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron.
So the fourth kingdom was to be strong as iron. Go ahead.
For as much as iron breaketh in pieces, and subdueth.
So it's talking about the army. The iron was the Rome's army. They was conquering and breaking in pieces. Go ahead.
And subdueth all things.
And as they was conquering, they was subduing all of the other lands. Go ahead.
And as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise.
Right. All right. That's it on that. Give me Daniel 7 and 7.
Daniel chapter 7, verse 7. After this I saw in the night visions, And behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it.
Right. It was diverse from every beast before it. Go ahead.
And it had 10 horns.
Right. And it had 10 horns. So this is Rome once again. This is the fourth beast is Rome. All right. Fourth beast is Rome. Now, so we got I have a lot of books we're going to be reading, so we're going to we only got a couple of scriptures. You know how I do this, bro. I'm not going to keep y'all long. Hey, all praises, bro. All praises, man. All praises. See the brother sound from Judah, man. All praises, man. I like that. I mean, I like that.
Yeah, because God is from Judah.
Oh, so. Man. See, always got a hater somewhere around. All right, let's get the first book. Hey, who's scribing for me?
Yeah, I don't see nobody.
Can we get a scribe? Can I get a scribe?
Damn, we got one brother on that can scribe? Oh, here we go.
Look at that. Mike, man.
Yeah, all praises. Michael got it.
1 second, Israel. All right. It popped up. Let me see. All right, 1 second.
Alright, Israel, just stick with us real quick. Officer's getting something. But in the meantime, just know how heavy this history is. This is a great history that we're about to go into. Understand, these captivities, they repeat, they go over. But in the meantime, we are now in the extension of the Roman captivity. So we're about to get into the beginning parts of it.
Right. So, we get into the beginning parts of the Roman captivity. Matter of fact, this is not the one I wanted. 1 second. So Rome came into power they was a republic. Rome was a republic from 264 to 241 BC. Now, when Deacon was doing his classes, when Deacon was bringing out the history on the radio show, this is pretty much a recap. But for those of you that's new, this will be new to you. But for those that have been watching Deacon's radio show, this is pretty much going to be a recap. All right. Remember we went over the history with the battle, the Punic Wars between Hannibal and Scipio Africanus. Okay, so between Hannibal and Rome. All right, and this is how Rome gained their power when they won the Second Punic War. Okay, when they conquered Hannibal. All right, so read that.
The Second Punic War changed the face of the Western Mediterranean. It gave Spain and all its wealth to Rome, providing the funds for the Roman conquest of Greece. It reunited Italy under Rome's unquestioned mastery.
Wait, read it from the top again. Right.
The second?
Yeah.
The Second Punic War.
So remember, the Second Punic War was around about 218 BC with Hannibal and his men. Remember, Hannibal was a black man. Hannibal was a black man. All right. So this was the second Punic War that was fought between Hannibal and Leo Scipius Africanus. Read again.
The Second Punic War changed the face of the Western Mediterranean. It gave Spain and all its wealth to Rome.
You see that? It gave Spain and all its wealth to Rome. What it means, it gave Spain and all its wealth to Rome, because Spain was wealthy. Remember, we was in Spain from time immemorial, from 1000 BC. Okay, Deacon was bringing all that out. All right, and from that time period of being in Spain, we gained a lot of wealth there. Spain is known for its mines, its minerals, okay, its diamonds, its gold, its silver. All right, so these are the things that Spain was known for. And it said it gave Spain and all its wealth to Rome. So when Rome conquered us, guess what? They took the wealth with them. Right. Read on.
Providing the funds for the Roman conquest of Greece.
Wait. What did our wealth that Rome won, what did it do?
Providing the funds for the Roman conquest of Greece.
So when Rome conquered Hannibal and took over Spain, that wealth that they got provided them the funds to pretty much become an empire.
Yep.
That right there substantiated them as being an empire. The funds, the wealth that they had.
The wealth they stole.
Yeah, the wealth. Yeah, right. The wealth that they stole. The spoils. Read on.
It reunited Italy under Rome's unquestioned mastery and threw open all routes and markets to Roman ships and goods.
Read.
But it was the most costly of all ancient wars. It ravaged or injured half the farms of Italy, destroyed 400 towns, killed 300,000 men. Southern Italy has never quite recovered from it to this day. It weakened democracy by showing that a popular assembly cannot wisely choose generals or direct a war.
Read.
It began the transformation of Roman life and morals by hurting agriculture and helping trade, by taking men from the countryside and teaching them the violence of battle and the promiscuity of the camp, by bringing the precious metals of Spain.
So by bringing the precious metals of Spain, the gold, the silver, okay, go ahead, the iron, whatever the precious metals was that we had, go ahead.
To finance new luxuries and imperialistic expansion.
You see that? You see what the wealth did that they stole? They was able to finance and expand by bringing the precious metals of Spain to finance new luxuries. So they was able to build up. They took this money. They was able to build. They was able to pretty much build up an empire. Whatever it took to build an empire, build cities and so forth, they used this money right here to do this. Go ahead.
And by enabling Italy to live on the extorted wheat of Spain, Sicily, and Africa.
Go ahead.
It was a pivotal event for almost every phase of Roman history.
Right. So this was a pivotal event because this substantiates them becoming an empire. All right. They was able to conquer Greece and all the other nations. Okay. And that made them the Greco-Roman Empire. They became the Greco-Roman Empire.
Right.
All right. Why? Because they're the same people. Same people using the same philosophies and so forth. All right. So it became the Greco-Roman Empire. Okay. From there, give me 1 Maccabees chapter 8. 1 Maccabees chapter 8. So what I'm doing is I'm giving you the foundation of how Rome came into play, how they came into power. All right.
Verse 1?
Yeah, you start verse 1.
This is the book of 1 Maccabees in the Apocrypha, chapter 8, verse 1. Now Judas had heard of the fame of the Romans, that they were mighty and valiant men, and such as would lovingly accept all that joined themselves unto them, and make a league of amity with all that came unto them.
Right. So Rome made a league of allegiance with those that came to them for help. All right, go ahead.
Verse 2, and that they were men of great valor. It was told him also of their wars and noble acts which they had done among the Galatians. And now they had...
So the Galatians, you hear about the Galatians, that's France. That's France and so forth. All right, go ahead.
And how they had conquered them and brought them under tribute. And what they had done in the country of Spain.
Hold on, now listen to verse 3. We just read about this in the book. Go ahead, read it again.
And what they had done in the country of Spain.
What did they do in the country of Spain? Read.
For the winning of the mines of the silver and gold which is there.
How did they get it? They conquered Hannibal. That's how they got the gold and the silver. That's how they won over the mines. That's how they was able to finance their empire. Read it again.
Verse 3. And what they had done in the country of Spain, for the winning of the mines of the silver and gold which is there.
Read.
And that by their policy and patience they had conquered all the place, though it were very far from them.
So Spain, so listen, Rome didn't care how far whatever country or whatever nation was. They wanted to conquer them. They wanted all of the known world. We talking about nations that were at peace. You know what I'm saying? They was at peace. But Rome came and conquered them anyway. Don't it sound familiar today?
Yep.
You see nations at peace, man. But what happens? America still goes and mess with them, and then they make up some lies talking about they
need democracy.
Yeah, they need democracy, or something popped off over there. They attacked us, and you know, whatever the case is. Same thing. Go ahead.
And the kings also that came against them from the uttermost part of the earth, till they had discomfited them, and given them a great overthrow, so that the rest did give them tribute every year.
Read.
Beside this, how they had discomfited in battle Philip and Perseus, king of the Kittims, which others had lifted up themselves against them, and had overcome them.
This is Greece. This happened 168 BC. This is Greece right here. All right, read that again.
Beside this, how they had discomfited in battle Philip and Perseus, king of the Kittims.
Right. So I believe this is Greece. Read on, because Kittim is the Macedonians. Go ahead.
With others that lifted up themselves against them, and had overcome them. How also Antiochus, the great king of Asia, that came against them in battle, having 120 elephants, with horsemen and chariots, and a very great army, was discomfited by them. Verse 7, and how they took him alive, and covenanted that he and such as reigned after him should pay a great tribute, and give hostages, and that which was agreed upon. And the country of India.
What verse you at?
Verse 8 now.
All right, go ahead.
And the country of India, and Media, and Lydia, and of the goodliest countries, which they took of him, and gave to King Eumenes. Moreover, how the Grecians had determined to come and destroy them.
So here we go. Now, how the Grecians had determined to come and destroy them. So Greece was coming up with a plan to come and destroy them. Go ahead.
Verse 10, and that they, having knowledge thereof, sent against them a certain captain, and fighting with them slew many of them, and carried away captives their wives and their children, and spoiled them, and took possession of their lands.
Of Greece, go ahead.
And pulled down their strongholds, and brought them to be their servants unto this day. It was told him besides, how they destroyed and brought under their dominion all other kingdoms.
All other kingdoms, go ahead.
And isles that at any time resisted them. But with their friends and such as relied upon them, they kept amity, and that they had conquered kingdoms both far and nigh.
So how did you keep amity with them? You went by their policies.
Right.
Just like today, I'm going to show you the parallel between Roman captivity and Babylon, and our captivity we're serving right now. You kept their policies. That's how you kept amity. Go ahead.
Verse 12 again. But with their friends and such as relied upon them, they kept amity, and that they had conquered kingdoms.
Wait, hold that. Watch this. Give me 1 Maccabees 1 and 11.
1 Maccabees chapter 1 verse 11.
This is how you keep amity with their policies and so forth and so on. Read that.
In those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen.
You see that? Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen. Go ahead.
That are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow.
Read.
So this device pleased them well.
So the device of doing what? Going to make a covenant with the heathen. Just like our black leaders is doing today. They make a covenant with the heathen. They think they're safe when they make that covenant with the heathen.
Yep.
That's amity right there. That's what you're doing. That amity is making a covenant with them. You're accepting their policies. Even when they go to the other countries and other nations or whatever, these countries are making amity with them by accepting America's policies. At this time doing the same thing, accepting Rome's policies. All right. Hold that. Scripture's popping in my head. 1 second. Give me Daniel 8:24.
This is the book of Daniel, chapter 8, verse 24.
Wait, you was already there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. See, that's what I'm talking about. No mind, one spirit. Read that.
And his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. And he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper, and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people. And through his policy.
Through his what?
Policy.
His policy. Go ahead.
Also, he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand.
So, through his policy, he shall cause craft, deceit, his schemes. To do what?
He shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many.
You see that? And by peace destroy many. And by peace he shall destroy many. All right? This is the Greek captivity. They ain't going about the Greek, but remember, they're the same people. It became the Greco-Roman Empire. So Esau was still doing the same thing. Even today. Trying to look up craft.
Shall cause craft to prosper.
Read it again.
This is Daniel chapter 8, verse 25. And through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall...
Yeah, so craft, meaning what? Skill or ability, this from dictionary.com. Skill or ability used for bad purposes. Cunning, deceit, guile. That's what it means when it says, and through his policy. Also, he shall cause craft to prosper. He shall cause deceit to prosper. He shall cause guile. His purposes, his bad purposes for whatever nation to prosper. All right? Sin, for lack of better words. He shall cause sin to prosper through his policies. Okay? Read it again.
That's why he's called the crafty one.
That's why he's called the crafty one.
Verse 25. And through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many.
By peace destroy many. Let's go back. 1 Maccabees in 8. Yes, that's a good precept. Framing mischief by law. Yep. That's it. That's their policy. That's what they do with their policies.
First Maccabees chapter 8, verse, we went down to verse 11, verse 12. Yeah, we went down to verse 12.
Yeah.
Let me read 12 again.
Hold on. All right, let me see, where's it at? This it.
So remember, the Bible calls this kingdom death and hell. These are the same people that a lot of our so-called leaders, they make agreements with. These same people. So that's what we're going into right now, even with, actually we're going into some history right now. But the main thing is you're seeing the parallel between what our people were doing back then, the hateful of our people, the deceived of our people, and the fact that in First Maccabees 1:11 they were making covenants with these heathen. It's the same precept with Isaiah 28:15, making covenant with death and hell.
Right. This book right here, I'll show it. I'll put it on this once I take this down. I'll put it up. It's called the Holman Quick Source Bible Atlas. Very good book with charts and biblical reconstructions. So I'll show it to you after I take this down. It's called Bible Atlas with charts and biblical reconstructions. All right, very good book. Shows all the maps and so forth, all the captivities. Has pretty much everything in it. All right. So remember, Rome was conquering pretty much the known world at this time. This is all the territories that Rome was conquering. So remember, they got their wealth by what? Conquering Spain, conquering Hannibal, a black man, right? And remember, it said with the wealth of Rome, they was able to expand. They was able to expand and make new luxuries and so forth with the wealth of Spain, with them from the mines of the gold and the silver. So this is Roman expansion in the 3rd and 2nd centuries BC. So this is all the territory that Rome was conquering. This is how they expanded. See, up in the left-hand corner, it says Rome expands westward into Spain. Okay, so they expand westward into Spain. Then they conquered Italy. Guess who was in Italy before Rome got there? Because they wasn't always there. You had the Japhetic tribes that was in Italy at that time.
Right.
And they conquered them and kicked them out. That's what happened. Okay, so it says the Rome conquers Italian peninsula from 334 to 264 BC. All right. Then the Roman general Scipio Africanus defeats Hannibal. Okay, he took over Africa. You see the Horn of Africa by Carthage and Utica. Also, it says after 4 wars, Macedonia is annexed as a province. Okay, that's Greece. All right, so that's when they started forming the Greco-Roman Empire. All right. And see, it says Rome down at the bottom here to your right. It says Rome defeats Antiochus III in 190 BC. So these are some of the expansions that Rome was, how Rome was conquering and so forth and so on. All right. Let's take that down. Go back to First Maccabees again. First Maccabees 8. Read verse. What verse you stopped at?
We were at verse 12.
Alright, go ahead, read on.
This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 8, verse 12. But with their friends and such as relied upon them, they kept amity, and that they had conquered kingdoms, both far and nigh, insomuch as all that heard of their name were afraid of them.
Why? Because Rome had these nations in fear when they came through. Remember in Daniel it said they stumped the residue. Their teeth was like what? Their teeth was like iron. Their army was like iron. They couldn't be stopped. Go ahead.
Sounds like somebody today.
Sounds like somebody today, right?
Verse 13. Also that whom they would help to a kingdom, those reign. And whom again they would.
Hey, hold on. Read that part again. Read that again. 13 from the top.
Verse 13. Also that whom they would help to a kingdom, those reign.
So, I don't know if y'all remember on the Deacon Radio Show, HH, we brought out this wicked nigga named Jurgatha. I believe his name was Jurgatha. But anyway, he's the king of Numidia. He fought with Hannibal. I think he fought with Hannibal, or he fought in the Third Punic War. And he see that we were losing. He decided to join Rome. And for that, they gave him, read that again.
Verse 13. Also that whom they would help to a kingdom, those reign.
So when he seen that his fellow brethren were losing, he joined sides with the enemy. They helped them to reign as they helped him to become the king of Numidia. That's what happened. They helped him to become the king of Numidia. He betrayed his brethren to go fight with the enemy. And they set him up as king. Read.
So they have enough power to pick winners and losers.
Yes.
And whom again they would, they displace.
And if you wasn't down, what was the phrase? Remember state property? Get down or lay down. What was it?
Get down or lay down.
Get down or lay down. Listen, the Romans, they were the real gangsters.
That's right.
Get down or lay down. That's how they got down. Read it again.
Also that whom they would help to a kingdom, those reign.
So they got down. Read.
And whom again they would, they displace.
And those that had to lay down because they wasn't trying to they wasn't about the policies. So they stayed and fought, but they got conquered. Right? Go ahead, read.
Finally, that they were greatly exalted. Yet for all this, none of them wore a crown, or was clothed in purple to be magnified thereby.
Right. So Rome didn't have a king. They didn't deal like that. Just like America, they don't have a king. Read on. Watch this.
Verse 15. Moreover, how they had made for themselves a senate house.
They made a senate house. Don't America have a senate house?
Yep.
Read.
Wherein 320 men sat in council daily.
I think now is what, 120?
No, it's 50.
It's 50 now, so they cut it down. Go ahead.
No, 100. I'm sorry.
150?
What was it? Two?
I think it's like 120.
Two senators for state.
Okay.
Back to so it's 100. Anyway, verse 16.
Come on, man.
Verse
Which one
15.
is it, man?
No, it's 100. It's 100. 100 times. 50 times 2.
Man, screwing me up right here.
You said
All right, go ahead.
You said 120.
Go ahead, man.
Verse 15. Moreover, how they had made for themselves a senate house.
Right. So they made for themselves a senate house. Go ahead.
Wherein 320 men sat in council daily, consulting always for the people, to the end they might be well ordered.
Right. So that's your Senate. What is it? You got your Republicans.
Yep.
And you got your Democrats.
Right.
You see this today with the stimulus package. Right? You see this today with the stimulus. Everybody waiting for the stimulus, but you had the Senate, you had Congress, we waiting for them to pass the bill. Read it again.
Moreover, how they had made for themselves a senate house, wherein 320 men sat in council daily, consulting always for the people.
So I'm using the stimulus package. That's what they were doing. They were consulting always for the people. How much you think we should give them Negroes? Nah, they don't need that much. Look, if we give them this much, then look, we can do this or we can do that. Whatever the case was behind the closed doors of why they did what they did. But this is what they do. This is how they get down. They were doing it at this time period, and they doing it today. Read.
To the end they might be well ordered. Verse 16. and that they committed their government to one man every year.
That government to one man every year is called your president. That's your president. Remember, it says they committed the government to one man. Not you Negroes. You don't have nothing to do with the votes.
That's right.
They do that. You're just voting for the electoral college. That's all you voting for. You voting for somebody to go vote for the actual president. You think you have a say so? You don't have a say so. The Bible telling you you don't have a say so. Read.
Verse 16 again. And that they committed their government to one man every year, who ruled over all their country, and that all were obedient to that one.
Read.
And that there was neither envy nor emulation among them.
Right. So there's no emulation or anything among them. All right. That's why they pass bills and so forth. The president can't even make certain calls. He can't even do certain things.
Checks and balances.
Yeah, it's checks and balances. He's limited. He's limited to what he can do. He got to check back with them.
Yep.
All right. With that, let me see. Get a second. Like I said, we're gonna be doing a lot of reading. One second.
That part is heavy too. Verse 15. For the people. That's what they say that's what democracy is supposed to be. That's literally it right there. For the so-called for the people.
Right, so-called for the people. So-called for the people.
Delusion of inclusion.
So now what I went over, we showing you how Rome came into power, how they gained their wealth, how they was able to conquer and expand. All right, they was a force to be reckoned with when they was on the scene. Now, how do we fit into play? Because we were in the Roman captivity from the book of Matthew on up. That's Roman captivity right there. Okay, so now what I'm about to do is show you how we became slaves in the Roman Empire. All right. Where I want to begin. One second. Hey, say something, man.
So, Lord's will, y'all taking y'all notes. You know what I'm saying? Notebooks, pens, Bibles, apocryphas.
Yo, you can't don't do what I do. I do that on the radio show. I get blasted for it. I said talk.
You said say something. Damn.
Wow.
Oh shoot.
All right. Here we go. My man say the same thing I always say.
Take good notes.
Right. Take good notes, Israel. It's imperative.
Hey man, some people just be watching for entertainment value, so gotta remind them.
Yeah. All right, so we about to get into how do we fit into play. Roman Empire. You can start here. Let me see. 1 second. Let me blow up some more. Now, just to bring y'all up to speed. This is going into remember Simon the Maccabees. All right, Simon Maccabees, from the family of the Maccabees. He started a dynasty called the Hasmonean dynasty. Right, so he started the Hasmonean dynasty. He had 2 sons. Give me that first Maccabees, 16:1. Simon had 2 sons. Let me see. Hold on 1 second. One second. Go ahead, you can read that.
This is the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 16, verse 1. Then came up John from Gazara, and told Simon his father that what Sendebeus had done. Wherefore Simon called his 2 eldest sons, Judas and John, and said unto them, I and my brethren and my father's house have ever from our youth unto this day fought against the enemies of Israel, and things have prospered so well in our hands that we have delivered Israel oftentimes.
Right. So Simon had 2 sons, one named John and Judas. John and Judas. Read it again.
1 Maccabees 16, verse 2. Wherefore Simon called his 2 eldest sons, Judas and John, and said unto them, I and my brethren and my father's house have ever from our youth unto this day fought against the enemies of Israel.
Right. So we always fought against the enemies of Israel. That's what Simon is saying, right? From the time of the when they were the Maccabees. All right, go ahead.
And things have prospered so well in our hands that we have delivered Israel oftentimes. But now I am old, and yea, by God's mercy are of sufficient age. Be ye instead of me and my brother, and go and fight for our nation, and the help from heaven be with you.
Right, so he's telling his sons, listen, give me 1 Maccabees 2. Let me see. 1 Maccabees 2 and... You know what I want?
Quote it.
With Mattathias, when he's set in order.
Let's see here.
Come on, man. 249.
1 Maccabees chapter 2, verse 49. Now when the time drew near that Mattathias should die, he said unto his sons, Now hath pride and rebuke gotten strength.
Give me 65, verse 64.
1 Maccabees 2, verse 64. Wherefore, ye, my sons, be valiant, and show yourselves men in the behalf of the law. For by it shall ye obtain glory.
Read.
And behold, I know that your brother Simon is a man of counsel. Give ear unto him always. He shall be a father unto you.
Read.
As for Judas Maccabeus, he hath been mighty and strong. Even from his youth up, let him be your captain, and fight the battle of the people.
So what is Mattathias doing? Our forefather Mattathias, he's setting order, because he's about to die. So he's setting up order amongst his sons. Because why? He knew the different spirits that they had. So he was able to look, let Simon be your let Simon be as a father to y'all, because he knew Simon was the one that had the wisdom. Let Judas be your fighter, your captain. He knew he was the fighter of his sons. All right, so he's setting order. Now go back to 1 Maccabees 16.
1 Maccabees chapter 16, verse 2.
Verse 2. Go ahead, read.
Wherefore Simon called his 2 eldest sons, Judas and John, and said unto them, I and my brethren and my father's house have ever from our youth unto this day fought against the enemies of Israel. And things have prospered so well in our hands that we have delivered Israel oftentimes. But now I am old, and ye, by God's mercy, are of a sufficient age. Be ye instead of me and my brother, and go and fight for our nation, and the help from heaven be with you.
So what do you think Simon is doing now? The same thing his father did before. He's setting order. He know, look, I'm getting old. I can't fight like I used to no more. We always fought for Israel, and we always won oftentimes. We was always fighting our enemies. Now I'm old. I can't do it no more. I need you, my sons. I need y'all to take over now. I need y'all to be the ones to fight the battles of Israel now. So that's what he's doing. He's setting order, just like Mattathias, just like his father did. All right.
So the scriptures say he leaves behind him an avenger.
Right. He leaves, but that's what he was doing. We knew that. excuse me, he leaving behind him an avenger. It's like he never died. Because he's raising a son like unto himself. All right? Matter of fact, get that. Sirach 30.
Yep.
Start at verse 2. 30 verse 2. Start at verse 1. Go ahead.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 30, verse 1. He that loveth his son causeth him oft to feel the rod, that he may have joy of him in the end. He that chastiseth his son shall have joy in him, and shall rejoice of him among his acquaintance. He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy.
You see that? He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy. That's why it's imperative that we teach our sons, our daughters, the laws. All right, it's imperative that we teach them the commandments. All right, because Babylon's getting worse and worse. It's not getting better. If we sending our children to these schools and they get indoctrinated with all this nonsense, they don't know what bathroom to go to no more. So it's imperative that look, we in the filth. They don't even know that we came over here on slave ships.
Right.
They don't know that. They think everybody was slaves because that's what they putting inside of the books. That's why it's imperative that look, if you do have in public school, you gotta reboot their minds. You gotta take that. You gotta refresh their mindset and so forth. Remember, they in school for 8 hours.
Yep.
Getting indoctrinated the whole 8 hours. So we got to spend much more. We got to spend that pretty much that same amount of time, if not more, in order to get that nonsense out their brain. All right, read it again.
Verse 3. He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy, and before his friends he shall rejoice of him. Though his father die.
So this is what we want. Though his father died. Go ahead.
Yet he is as though he were not dead.
You see that? Though his father died, he is as though he were not dead.
For he hath left one behind him that is like himself.
That's what Mattathias did. He left behind avengers behind him. It's like he never died. And same thing Simon is doing. He leaving behind avengers behind him. All right, let's go back.
Okay, verse 6 is the point.
Oh, read verse 6.
Verse 6. He left behind him an avenger against his enemies.
There you go. He left behind him avenger against his enemies. Read.
And one that shall requite kindness to his friends.
Right. All right.
First Maccabees chapter 16, verse... Which one you want, verse 3?
Yeah. Go back to verse 3.
First Maccabees chapter 16, verse 3.
We'll stop there.
But now I am old, and ye, by God's mercy, are of a sufficient age. Be ye instead of me and my brother, and go and fight for our nation, and the help from heaven be with you.
Right, and the help from heaven be with you. So, this John here, this is John Hyrcanus. John Hyrcanus, he was the son of Simon Maccabees. And this brought on the Hasmonean dynasty. Okay, this is the Hasmonean dynasty now. This is after the Maccabees is gone. All right, so starting with John Hyrcanus, Simon's son, it became the Hasmonean dynasty. All right, now, John Hyrcanus had a son. And his name was Aristobulus. Yeah, his name was Aristobulus. All right, he was the oldest son of John Hyrcanus and eliminated all but one of his brothers in securing his rule. So he killed his own brothers just to rule. All right, Upper Galilee conquered during his reign. First Hasmonean to use the title king. So he's the first of the Hasmonean dynasty to use that title king. So he was called King Aristobulus. All right, he was the first one to use the title. Simon never used that title. John never used that title, and here he come. He put the title king, King Aristobulus. All right, so now let's get to the book. So I'm just bringing you up to the speed of who's who. All right. Yeah, you can read.
But more?
Yeah.
But more terrible than earthquake or hurricane, was the harbinger of evil that appeared in Judea. The beast with iron teeth, brazen claws, and heart of stone.
So that beast is Rome. Go ahead.
That was to devour much and trample the rest underfoot.
You see that? So he's quoting Daniel. Daniel 7. Go ahead.
Which came to the Judean nation.
So now Rome done conquered all the other nations. Now, guess what? Now they turned their eye on Israel, on our land, on us. Go ahead.
To drink its blood, to eat its flesh, and to suck its marrow.
Its bones. Go ahead.
The hour had struck when the Roman eagle.
The Roman what?
Eagle.
The Roman eagle. That is the symbol of Esau, the eagle. What's the symbol of America? The eagle.
No.
Go ahead.
With swift flight was to swoop down upon Israel's inheritance, circling wildly round the bleeding nation, lacerating her with cruel wounds, and finally leaving her a corpse.
Dang.
Oh, God.
This is what Rome did. Read on.
Like inexorable fate, Rome watched over the destinies of the people of Western Asia, plundering, dividing, and destroying.
Wait, so Rome watched over the destinies of the people of Western Asia. So Esau has a habit of watching us fight each other, and then that's when they make their move.
They see the weakness.
They see the weakness. We're what's the scripture? Christ said a kingdom divided against itself.
Yeah, Matthew.
You know what I want? Get that for me?
Yeah.
They exploited that weakness.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 20. Nope, 25. Yeah, Matthew chapter 12, verse 25.
Read.
And Jesus knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation.
You see that? Every kingdom divided against himself is brought to desolation. Read.
And every city or house divided against itself shall not stand.
Esau knew that. They knew that. They knew that well, and they exploited that thing. And guess who they knew? And guess who they knew to exploit it about from us? That was our downfall. Our downfall was always unity.
Yep.
We could never keep the unity amongst each other. We was always being niggas and fighting against each other. Esau played on that thing. They played on that weakness. Read on. From the top, from that paragraph, bottom paragraph.
Let me see. Like inexorable fate, Rome watched over the destinies of the people of Western Asia, plundering, dividing, and destroying. Judea was destined to the same lot.
You see that? Negroes fighting against Negroes. Go ahead.
The bird of prey scented its booty from afar with astonishing precision.
That's just like an eagle.
Mm-hmm.
Eagle will fly up. Eagle be high up in the sky, but they can see down. They have the eyes to see the precision of their prey.
You can see a damn mouse.
You're right. They can see a mouse from all the way up in the sky, man. That's an eagle. So he letting you know the characteristics of an eagle. Read.
And hastened to put out the last spark of life. It came to Judea for the first time in the person of Scaurus, a legate of Pompey.
Right, so this demon Pompey here, go ahead.
In leaving for Asia, Scaurus hoped to exchange an insignificant position in his own country for a powerful one in foreign lands.
Right, for a powerful one in foreign lands. 1 second. Let's get the next page. We'll be doing a lot of reading,
he had imagined that in Syria he might acquire wealth and honor, but finding that country already in possession of other birds of prey, he turned his attention to Judea. There,
So now Scaurus turns his attention to Judea. Go ahead.
there he was warmly welcomed by the rival brothers, who looked upon him as an arbitrator in their difficulties.
Wait. The rival brothers was Aristobulus and Alexander. Alexander was another son of John Hyrcanus. So, guess who's fighting each other? These Negroes is fighting each other. Go ahead, read it again.
There he was warmly welcomed by the rival brothers, who looked upon him as an arbitrator in their difficulties.
So we looked at an Edomite as an arbitrator
Right.
for our difficulties. We ran to him to settle our differences between each other.
Letting them know family affairs.
Right, letting them know family affairs.
Damn.
You going to your enemy to let them know family affairs amongst yourselves.
Oh, shoot.
Come on, man. We got to do better, Israel. We got to do better. Yeah, like today. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
They both sent ambassadors to meet him. And as they knew that the Romans were not indifferent to gold, they took care not to appear empty-handed before him.
Oh, we always had a habit of doing that. Bribes. We always had a habit of that thing. Let me take him a gift. Let me take more gold than my brother and so forth. So he could choose my side. Go ahead.
But Aristobulus' gifts prevailed.
You see that? His gift won. So Rome didn't give a damn about what really went on in your life.
Hell no.
Whoever had the more money, like, yo, I think you should listen to him. He might be right. Why? Because he had the more money. They didn't give a damn about your family affairs. The enemy don't care about what's going on in your life. They could care less about you. Read.
That's how it is with the politics today. Like, it's the same thing. The lobbyists are the ones that get, if you pay more money, your cause gets heard.
Right.
It's the lobbyists, the same thing.
Hey, that's how the court system is. Money talks.
Yep.
Money talks, man. That's how the court system is. Go ahead.
But Aristobulus' gifts prevailed. He sent 300 talents, whilst Hyrcanus, or more properly speaking, Antipater, gave little but promises. Roman interest accorded well with the greed of Scaurus. The Republic, fearing the growth of his power, began by insisting that the Nabatean king should retire from the civil war in Palestine. Scaurus was therefore able to command Aretas to raise the siege of Jerusalem.
So wait, Nabatean king. So Scaurus, he probably was I think that's probably Ishmael. I'm not sure. But go ahead, read on. I'm not sure. I have to get back to that.
Aretas complied, but was overtaken with his army at Rabath Ammon by the troops of Aristobulus and defeated.
Go ahead.
For the moment, Aristobulus might fancy that was the victorious monarch of Judea. For the moment, Aristobulus might fancy that he was the victorious monarch of Judea. The direction that Roman statesmanship had taken, and the slow, deliberate movements that the commander Pompey employed against Mithridates.
Yeah, Mithridates. Something. Yeah, whoever that is.
Lulled him into the delusion that his monarchy was one of lasting duration.
Read.
A lover of war like his father, he began immediately to make inroads into neighboring provinces, and also organized a fleet for warlike purposes. For 2 years, Aristobulus nursed this vain dream that he may even have wished to establish a show of independence by ordering, during this interval, coins to be struck in his name. But Antipater's inventive genius soon dissipated this dream. For in the arts of bribery,
he was nice with bribery. Go ahead.
and diplomacy,
Read.
he was far superior to Aristobulus.
Damn. Read.
Antipater had already induced Scaurus to side with Hyrcanus and to win for him the favor of Pompey, who was at this time gathering laurels in Syria. Pompey looked upon the quarrel between the two brothers as an excellent.
All right, 1 second.
As an excellent means for adding another conquest to his long lists of triumphs. Although Aristobulus had made him a magnificent gift, valuable in point of art of intrinsic merit, the contest had not been brought to an end. This gift consisted of a golden vine, bearing clusters of golden grapes and golden leaves, valued at 500 talents. And it had probably been designed by King Alexander for the adornment of the temple. This work of art aroused the admiration of all those who saw it, and for that reason Pompey hastened to send it to Rome, where it was placed in the temple of Jupiter on the Capitol.
Right. So this cluster of golden grapes and golden leaves valued at 500 talents, and it had probably been designed by King Alexander for the adornment of the temple. Now he said this work of art aroused the admiration of all those who saw it, and for that reason Pompey was the Roman general at this time. He hastened to send it to Rome, where it was placed in the temple of Jupiter on the Capitol. Go ahead.
As the harbinger of his triumphs. But the pious Judeans, naturally, would not allow their own sanctuary to be deprived of such an ornament, and spontaneously made contributions, some for golden grapes, others for golden leaves, so that another golden vine in later days graced the outer court of the temple. Although Pompey's vanity was flattered by this magnificent present, he was far from deciding in favor of the donor. He had the insolence to command Antipater and Nicodemus, the two envoys of the rival brothers, to bid their masters appear in person at Damascus, where the vexed question should be discussed.
Right. Go ahead.
And where he would decide in favor of one of the two princes. In spite of the deep humiliation which each felt, both Hyrcanus and Aristobulus appeared.
So, this is Hyrcanus the second and Aristobulus the second. This is Alexander Janneus sons. All right. So this is John Hyrcanus. These are his grandson, his great grandsons, or so forth. It's Hyrcanus the second and Aristobulus the second. All right. So they were the rival sons of Salome Alexandra. Aristobulus, supported by the Sadducees, seized power from Hyrcanus the second. All right. The Idumean governor Antipater used the Nabateans in an attempt to restore Hyrcanus to power in 63 BC. Pompey intervened in the dispute. That's what we're reading here right now. So Antipater is the father of Herod. We'll get to that later on. But I'm just bringing y'all up to speed of what's going on. So remember, they going back. Hyrcanus the second, Aristobulus the second, are going back and forth trying to win power. All right. They trying to seize power. Antipater is in favor of Hyrcanus the second. Okay, so he's in favor of him. Go ahead.
In spite of the deep humiliation which each felt, both Hyrcanus and Aristobulus appeared and upheld their individual claims, the one resting upon his rights of birth, the other upon his capacity for governing. But a third party had also appeared before Pompey, which was to represent the right of the nation apart from the angry princes. Wary of the Hasmonean quarrels,
Weary of the Hasmonean fights between Negroes. Go ahead.
a Republican party had sprung up, which was ready to govern for the Judean community, according to the letter of the law, without an hereditary sovereign.
Whoa, read that again. Read that again. Read it slow.
Wary of the Hasmonean quarrels.
So, weary of the Hasmonean quarrels, the fight to seize power to govern Judea, our land. Go ahead.
A Republican party had sprung up,
A Republican Party now springs up in the midst of all of that. Go ahead.
which was ready to govern the Judean community,
Read on.
according to the letter of the law,
According to the letter of the law. Read.
without an hereditary sovereign.
What do that mean? The people that was ready to govern us wasn't going to even be of our nation.
Nope.
They was like, yo, get these Negroes out the way. They don't know what they doing.
We got this.
We got this. We gonna take it over now. We got it from here, y'all. 1 second.
That's crazy.
Oh, you didn't get the bottom here.
Yeah, we didn't get the last part. I thought it wasn't important. So
Nah, I got a couple pages. Oh shoot. Hey, yo, bear with me, Israel. Go ahead.
Damn RT. No, I'm just playing.
Oh man.
The Republicans especially complained that the last of the
All right, now get the next page.
Hasmoneans.
What?
That the last of the Hasmoneans had changed the Judean form of government from a hierarchy to a monarchy in order to reduce the nation to servitude.
Damn. Read.
Pompey, however, gave ear neither to the murmurs of the Republicans nor to the arguments of the two brothers. It was not his intention to put an end to the strife. What he desired was, in the guise of a peaceful arbitrator,
Right. Go ahead.
to bring Judea under the Roman rule.
Listen, that was the whole purpose now. It had nothing to do. Look, he said, yo, get these Negroes out the way. All right, they don't know what they doing. They don't know how to run nothing. Okay, what the enemy is doing is sitting back, looking at us quarrel, look at us fight, because they see a kingdom. How do they go again? They see a kingdom undivided. No, not undivided. They see a kingdom that's divided,
right?
And it cannot stand. So they say, yo, this is our time to take over. That's all they did. Give me Sirach. What's it? Sirach 12.
Yep, Sirach 12 and 10. But I was going to say, even with that point, you see right there, it says, in the guise of a peaceful arbitrator. The officer went into it earlier when you read Daniel chapter 8, verse 25. In the middle of the verse, it says, and by peace shall he destroy many. This guy did it in the guise of a peaceful arbitrator.
Right. He came. He came like he was about being an arbitrator, but he already had a scheme and he already had a plot.
Right.
That he had for himself. Watch this. Sirach 12 and...
Sirach chapter 12, verse 10.
Read.
Never trust thine enemy.
The Bible says never to trust thy enemies.
For like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness.
So like iron rusteth, and how you see it when it rusts, so will you see your enemy wickedness. It will come out.
Right.
It's going to come out. They can't hide that thing. You gotta, if you, for those of you who have Edomite friends out there,
no Lord,
they can't help themselves. They're gonna say something out of line, man. You're gonna be like, yo, damn, where that come from? Oh, I don't know, but I don't know. Oh, no, but dang, that came from the left. Yeah.
Oh, you're offended?
Yeah, you offended? I'm just playing around. I don't even know why I said it. No, they can't help it. That's why they said it. Read it again.
Never trust thine enemy.
Read.
For like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness.
Like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. It's going to show. Go read.
Though he humble himself and go crouching.
This is what Pompey did. He humbled himself. He humbled himself, act like he's gonna be a peaceful arbitrator for us, right? Go ahead, read.
And go crouching. Yet take good heed and beware of him.
They wasn't aware of him. Matter of fact, they was never aware of him. They was paying him. They was giving Rome all this money to become an arbitrator for their problems. Read.
And thou shalt be unto him. Oh, sorry. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass.
A mirror. Read.
And thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away.
It's still there. Read.
Set him not by thee.
That's what we did. At this time period, that's what we did. We set our enemy by us. We trusted in our enemies. Read.
Lest, when he hath overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place.
You see that? That's what happened. He came in the guise as if he was going to be an arbitrator, but he had other plans. He had other plans to do what? Overthrow us. So that they ruled our nation. Read.
Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat.
Read.
And thou at the last remember my words, and be pricked therewith. Who will pity a charmer?
Who will pity a charmer? Read.
That is bitten with a serpent.
You shouldn't be messing around with a serpent. The charmer shouldn't be messing around with the serpent. So when you get bit, who's gonna pity him? We watch a lot of those shows with Esau. He mess around with the animals.
Yeah.
You be like, oh, he shouldn't mess around. You shouldn't have been messing around with him. Like you chilling with lions for? Now you get bit by the lion. What pity we supposed to have for you?
Like the crocodile hunter died from a stingray. You were messing with the stingray.
You mess around with the stingray. You knew he was a wild, endangered animal. You know what I'm saying? Right? Go ahead. That's it. That's it. All right, let's go back to the book. All right. Read it from the top again. Read that whole thing again.
All right. Hasmoneans had changed the Judean form of government from a hierarchy to a monarchy in order to reduce the nation to servitude. Pompey, however, gave ear neither to the murmurs of the Republicans nor to the arguments of the two brothers. It was not his intention to put an end to the strife. What he desired was, in the guise of a peaceful arbitrator, to bring Judea under the Roman rule.
One second. Is the screen frozen or shall I refresh? No, you good, sis. You good. I didn't change anything. You good. Go ahead.
He soon saw that the weak-minded Hyrcanus, under the tutelage of a designing minister, would be better adapted for the part of a ward of Rome than the daring Aristobulus, and he inwardly determined to support the weaker prince. Damn.
He's gonna exploit his weakness. Go ahead.
But as he feared that by too rash a decision, he would only be involved in a long contest with Aristobulus in an inaccessible country, and that he would only delay his triumphal entry into Rome, he endeavored to put off the younger brother with empty promises. Aristobulus, however, saw through the snare that was prepared for him, and determined to make sure of his freedom whilst there was yet time. He, therefore, entrenched himself in the citadel of Alexandrion, intending to oppose the invasion of the enemy from the walls of the fortress. But Roman greed of conquest was now to manifest itself in all its abhorrent nakedness.
Damn. Read.
The Roman commander.
So what we doing? We're leading up to when Pompey besieged Jerusalem in 63 BC. This is what we're leading up to right now. That's what we're reading. Read.
The Roman commander was pleased to look upon this prince's justifiable act of self-defense as evidence of insubordination, and to treat him as an obstinate rebel. He crossed the Jordan at Bethshean, and taking the field against Aristobulus, commanded him to surrender, following up his command by a series of delusive promises and serious threats, such as would have induced a more wily man to take a false step. The unfortunate prince surrendered the fortress of Alexandria, but soon, repenting of this folly, returned to entrench himself behind the strong walls of the city of Jerusalem, whither Pompey followed him.
Damn, Pompey followed him there.
When the Roman
Yeah, when the Roman month. Let me see.
No,
Oh, okay. Now let's get the. All right. It's
Yeah, you did. Skip 60.
All right, so we about to get to. All right, so now we getting into when Pompey besieged Jerusalem. All right. You start
the month of Sivan, June 63 BC.
So this is 63 BC. Go ahead.
A tower of the temple fell, and a breach was effected by which the most daring of the Romans prepared a way for entering the sanctuary.
So they already besieged Jerusalem. Now they're preparing to enter the sanctuary. Read.
The legions of Rome and the foreign mercenaries crowded into the court of the temple and killed the priests as they stood sacrificing before the altar. Many of the unfortunate victims threw themselves headlong from the battlements into the depths below, whilst others lit their own funeral pyre.
Wow. Go ahead.
It is believed that 12,000 Judeans met their death upon this day. Pompey then penetrated into the sanctuary in order to satisfy his curiosity as to the nature of the Judean worship, about which the most contradictory reports prevailed. This guy is just like Esau.
Yeah.
That's what they are, curious about.
They always curious. They always going. Go ahead.
Mine's deep as hell. The Roman general was not a little astonished at finding within the sacred recesses of the Holy of Holies neither an ass's head, nor indeed images of any sort. Thus, the malicious fictions busily circulated by Alexandrian writers, and of a character so prejudicial to the Judeans, were now shown to be false.
Right, so whatever he was looking for in our temple, he didn't find it. All right, so whatever the reports were that the writers, our writers and so forth, are writing on our temple and so forth, that's what he's looking for. He didn't find it.
It's not for your eyes.
So it's not for your eyes. we knew you was coming. We put it somewhere. Read. Well, hey, one second. Israel, just think about it. Remember how all of this came about? Who knows how all of this came about? Who can tell me? See if y'all paying attention. How did Pompey enter Jerusalem? How was he able to besiege our land, besiege Jerusalem? How was he able to get into our temple? Who can tell me? Real quick. Who's paying attention? Anybody could.
Probably typing away. There we go. Come on, man.
All right, all praises. Who can tell me? Come on, Israel. How did this happen?
We went over this like 4 or 5 minutes ago.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes. Fighting between the brothers. Us fighting against each other. The enemy loves that. They love when we fight against each other.
Yeah, part of the reason why J. Edgar Hoover was like, Negro unity is the most dangerous thing.
Right. If they know we in one mind, one spirit, that's the most dangerous thing ever.
Yep.
So they keep us fighting against each other. Push guns into the community.
Mm-hmm.
Push the drugs into the community. That's gonna destroy them. They're gonna come against you. They come against each other. Okay. So by watching us fight, and this is at a time when there ain't no gun, no drugs and so forth in the community.
Right.
This is just niggas fighting against each other, man.
Right. Politics and power.
Overpower. Enemy. Look, the enemies, they love that thing, man. And this is an ongoing tactic that the enemy used against us in 70 AD.
Mm-hmm.
Even when we was ruling during the Dark Ages, they used the same tactic. They watch us fight each other, man. How they use the same old tactic on us every time? How they get away with that?
Dumbasses. Always in sin, can't stand each other.
Right, divide and conquer. Divide and conquer. They know that. The enemy know that to the T. Right? Divide us up and conquer us. All right? Read on. Where we at? Right, the entrance.
The entrance of the Roman conqueror into the temple. Just lost me. The entrance of the Roman conqueror into the temple, though deplorable enough, was in a way favorable to Judaism. Whether he was penetrated by awe at the sublime simplicity of the Holy of Holies.
Because there wasn't nothing in there, so he's like, yo, what's all this talk about this Holy of Holies? What's so special about it?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Or whether he did not wish to be designated as the robber of sanctuaries, we know not. But wonderful to relate, Pompey controlled his greed for gold and left the treasury, containing 2,000 talents, untouched.
So he left that. Go ahead.
But the independence of the nation ceased forever from that hour.
So this is when we entered the Roman captivity. From this point right here, we're in the captivity of Rome. It's a wrap from here on out. Because of Negroes. But we know it was prophecy and so forth and so on.
Right.
But we're showing you what led up to it.
Details.
We're showing you, right, I'm getting into the details of what led up to us being in captivity of the Roman Empire. All right? Go ahead.
Exactly a century after the Maccabees had freed their people from the tyranny of the Syrians.
You see that? After centuries after the Maccabees, their forefathers, their lineage, freed us from the Greeks. All that fighting that we did, now we are back under captivity again. Read.
Exactly a century after the Maccabees had freed their people from the tyranny of the Syrians, their descendants brought down the tyranny of the Romans upon Judea.
Damn. You see that? Their descendants, Hyrcanus and Aristobulus, fighting each other, brought down the tyranny of the Romans upon Judea. They the ones that brought the Romans in to conquer us. They did that thing. Why? Remember, in Sirach 12, they ran to the enemy. They set the enemy by them. The enemy, and guess what? Pompey was waiting to overthrow us. He said, remember the book say he came as in the guise of what? An arbitrator.
Yep, peaceful arbitrator.
A peaceful arbitrator. Yeah. Yep. Negroes. Read on. Where you at?
The next paragraph. What did Hyrcanus gain by his supplication for aid from the Republic?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Pompey deprived him of his royal title,
Dang.
only leaving him the dignity of the high priesthood with the doubtful appellation of ethnarch, and made him the ward of Antipater.
Antipater. This demon Antipater made him the ward of Antipater. All right. 1 second.
and made him the ward of Antipater, who was named governor of the country.
So Antipater, all right, was named governor of the country now. Go ahead.
The walls of Jerusalem were razed to the ground.
They were brought down. Read.
Judea put into the category of conquered provinces.
Now we in the category of being conquered. We're on their Now we're on their list of conquered provinces. Go ahead.
And a tax was levied upon the capital. The territory was brought within narrower confines, and its extent became once more what it had been in pre-Hasmonean times. Several seaports lying along the coast and inhabited by Greeks, as well as those Transjordanic towns with Hyrcanus and Alexander, had conquered after hard fighting and had incorporated with Judea, were declared to be free towns by Pompey, and were placed under the guardianship of the Roman governor of Syria.
See that? Go ahead.
But these cities, particularly the Transjordanic ones, joined together in a defensive and offensive league, calling themselves the Decapolis. Pompey ordered the most determined of his prisoners of war, the zealots, to be executed, whilst the rest were taken to Rome.
Damn. So Pompey ordered the most determined of his prisoners of war, the zealots, to be executed. The most determined mean they was always the one that was zealous, fighting against Rome. All right, that's who the zealots was.
Yeah, you're right. It's the zealots.
So he ordered them to be executed.
Yep.
He was like, "Yo, kill them," and they were the most determined. They wasn't having it. But the rest, take them to Rome, make them slaves.
The docile ones.
Right, the docile ones. Read.
The Judean prince Aristobulus, his son Antigonus, his two daughters, and his uncle Absalom were forced to precede Pompey's triumphal car.
Right, so there was a procession, a parade for the Rome always had a procession or parade when they conquered for whoever they conquered, and they would have us in the procession as prisoners of war with chains on our necks, chained up, just like how you go to a parade here in America. That was the parades. Read.
In the train of the conquered Asiatic kings and kings' sons. Whilst Zion veiled her head in mourning, Rome was reveling in her victories. But the Judean prisoners that had been dragged to Rome were to become the nucleus of a community destined to carry on a new kind of warfare against long-established Roman institutions, and ultimately to modify or partly destroy them.
You see that? So we were to become the nucleus of the community in Rome. They took us back to Rome. I'm going to show you what they called us over in Rome. They made us slaves over there.
So they dragged us to Rome.
They dragged us over there. Read.
There were, without doubt, many Judeans living in Rome and in other Italian cities before Pompey's conquest.
So we was over there already. Before the conquest, we was already over there in Rome, right? Go ahead.
Who may have immigrated into Italy from Egypt and Asia Minor for commercial objects. As merchants, bringing gain from the Nile country or tribute money from Asia Minor, they may have come into contact with the Roman potentates. But these immigrants could hardly have formed a regular communal organization, for there were no authorized teachers of the law amongst them. Probably, however,
Alright, go ahead. Hold on.
Probably, however, Some learned men may have followed in Pompey's train of captives, who were ransomed by their compatriots and persuaded to remain in Rome.
Read.
The descendants of these prisoners were called, according to Roman law, libertini.
You see that? They were called libertines. Meaning what?
The freed ones.
The freed ones. They were slaves before. They were slaves over in Rome, and they were freed and were called the libertines. Sound familiar? Let's get that in Acts. Acts 6 and 9.
Just the book of Acts, chapter 6, verse 9. Then there arose certain of the synagogue, which is called the synagogue of the libertines.
Of the who?
Of the libertines.
Of the libertines. Of the freed ones. The ones that were freed from Rome.
And Cyrenians, and Alexandrians, and of them of Cilicia, and of Asia, disputing with Stephen.
Right.
Stephen.
So the libertines were called the freed ones. Okay, that were those of us that was enslaved over in Rome and was able to become free. So we was able to go back to our homeland. All right. So read it again.
The descendants of these prisoners were called, according to Roman law, libertini, the freed ones. The Judean quarter in Rome lay upon the right bank of the Tiber, on the slope of Mount Vatican, and a bridge leading across that river to the Vatican was known for a long while by the name of the bridge of the Judeans, Pons Judaeorum. Theodos, one of the Judeans,
Oh, that's Latin. Go ahead.
Theodos, one of the Judeans, settled in Rome, introduced into his own community a substitute for the Paschal lamb,
Passover. Go ahead.
which could not be eaten outside of Jerusalem, and the loss of which was a bitter deprivation to the exiles.
Read.
This aroused the displeasure of the Judeans in the home country, who wrote to Theodos, "If thou wert not Theodos, we should excommunicate thee."
Dang. Not deal with you. Go ahead.
The Roman Judeans influenced, to a certain extent, the course of Roman policy. For as the original immigrants, as well as the ransomed captives, enjoyed the power of voting in public assemblies.
Sound familiar? That's what Negroes do today.
Yep.
Vote. Remember, there's parallels here. Remember here in Babylon, remember we got emancipated. We got emancipated here in Babylon too in what, 1863?
Yep.
And then they allow us to do what? Vote.
Well, later on.
Later on. No, they signed. They allow us to vote. They signed into the 13th or 14th Amendment in 1868, which was which began the Reconstruction era. But I'm showing you the parallels between the two. It says the Roman Judeans influenced to a certain extent the course of Roman policy. For as the original immigrants, as well as the ransomed captives, the libertines, enjoyed the power of voting in public assemblies. We went to go cast the ballot for the president or the emperor at that time. Doing the same thing we're doing today.
Yep.
All right. So
Says we enjoyed that shit.
yeah, we enjoyed it.
Coonery, man.
Walking around with togas and whatever. I don't know what we.
Today, walking around with voter die signs.
Yeah. All right, watch this. Watch this. Read that top. So remember, remember Pompey came. He conquered Jerusalem in 63 BC. And then he took us back, captives, prisoners of war, back to Rome. Took us prisoners of war back to Rome. All right. And also, he was also conquering us over in Africa also. In Spain, Africa, and so forth and so All right, and I see right, somebody said it on the comment board. Yes, we became gladiators. He was turned. This was not the beginning of being a gladiator, but this is what they were doing to us when we went back. They turned us into gladiators. All right, so read the top here.
Entertain us. Negro slave.
Negro slave in Rome. Read.
The Roman economy depended on the cheap labor of slaves, and throughout the Roman world, huge numbers of conquered peoples were forced into slavery.
So this is Rome was notorious for this. It says huge numbers of conquered people were forced into slavery. Read.
Many were brought back to Rome itself and sold to help pay for the wars that had enslaved them.
Dang, that was us. Go ahead.
At the height of the empire, nearly a third of the population of Rome were slaves. The slave realistically shown cleaning a boot in this bronze statuette is clearly far from his homeland in Black Africa.
Right, so that's a pic on the next page. I should have took a picture of it. I'll show it next week or the following week or whenever I teach again. Go ahead.
Other slaves were brought as captives of war from Gaul.
From Gaul, that's Galatia. Go ahead.
Britain.
We was over in Britain.
Or Asia Minor.
We was over there also. Go ahead.
The slave became the property of his owner, with no rights of his own. Every Roman household had at least 2 or 3 slaves.
Sound like America. Sound just like America. Go ahead.
A rich nobleman might have 500.
Damn. Read.
And the emperor's household as many as 20,000.
20,000 slaves in the emperor's household. Read.
Not all the household slaves were restricted to menial jobs such as boot cleaning. A better educated slave had the chance to become a highly valued cook, craftsman, secretary to a businessman, or steward on a landowner's country estate. Greek slaves were frequently in demand as children's tutors. Some slaves became personal friends of their masters, who treated them well, and many slaves were eventually manumitted.
Manumitted meaning what? They were freed. Go ahead.
Or given the status of freedmen.
But manumit, let me see.
Meritorious manumission.
Meaning they had to do something in order to be free.
That's why that term meritorious manumission, meaning of merit. You did something.
Yeah, right. You did something in order to be free. Right, it says manumission or enfranchisement is the act of freeing slaves by their owner. Different approaches develop, each specific to the time and place of a particular society. Yeah, so manumission meaning they did something to be free, or whatever the case was. All right, I think because I remember Bishop brought out what it was. Either they ratted somebody out or they did something in order to get free. All right, so I looked that up a little more into it. I don't want to just throw stuff out there. Go ahead.
Some slaves became personal friends of their masters, who treated them well, and many slaves were eventually manumitted or given the status of freedmen, which enabled them to set up as shopkeepers or small businessmen on their own.
Right. Read.
The lot of the industrial slave was harder. Gangs of thousands of slaves toiled to build bridges.
This is what they had us doing. Go ahead.
Monuments.
Read.
And aqueducts.
Doing the same thing we did over here in America.
Or to mine silver, copper, and tin. They were seldom free, but worked until they dropped from exhaustion.
Damn.
Other slaves were forced to become gladiators.
You see that? Other slaves were forced to become gladiators. Go ahead.
Doomed to die in unequal contests in amphitheater spectacles. It was a gladiator slave called Spartacus.
So remember, Deacon went over this on a radio show. He went over all of this. He showed a picture of Spartacus. He was a black man,
That's right.
like all the gladiators. Go ahead.
It was a gladiator slave called Spartacus who in 73 BC led a huge slave revolt in Italy. The revolt was ferociously crushed 3 years later, and 6,000 slaves were crucified along the Appian Way.
You see that? So crucifixion, that was a black man's death right there.
Right.
Not only Christ was crucified. No, that's the way they executed us. That was lynching.
And that was before Christ.
Now before Christ, and who's being crucified on the cross. All right. So Israel, I'm gonna end it there. All right. I hope y'all got some out of that. I'll continue. More on the Roman captivity. All right. This is the beginning. How Rome came into power, and Pompey, how we ended up being conquered and being in captivity under Rome. All right. So with that, hold on. Right, capital punishment. Yes, capital punishment. One second. I'm talking, y'all can't even see me. Right, so like I was saying before, those will next week. I'm gonna continue with the Roman captivity. I'm still doing the commandments also, so I might switch it up a little bit. Switch it up a little bit, trying to do something different. All right. So I'll continue with the either the 10 commandments, so we dive more into the law still, or continue with the history of the of us in Roman captivity. All right, Israel. With that, I'm gonna say shalom.
Shalom.